Flamio Air Acolytes, and welcome back to another exciting edition of Breaking Win, a Last Airbender podcast. I am Jason Roy Gaston, and this big galoot next to me is VHS Jason. Today we are taking a look at the Legend of Korra, episode 6, and the winner is...
Okay, I was not excited about having to watch this after that last week. That was not good. I did not enjoy that last episode. But wow, what happened this time? Did they fire everyone and then bring in a brand new set of people? Because this thing is my favorite episode so far.
I think that they just listened to the dailies from the recording and thought, oh no, we have to do something. And they did something. And it was to make a good episode that people were interested in watching. Because no more of that love triangle garbage. I know we're going to see a little bit more of it, but please no more for a while. Because
even the school was better in this one.
Oh yeah, this is peak Korra right here. So let's just get into it. The episode opens with Korra and Mako and Bolin all at a practice, and as they are celebrating the fact that they are about to compete in the Pro Bending Championships, Korra hears a sinister voice on the radio. It's our old friend Amon. And Amon tells them that they'd better not hold that pro bending tournament, because if they do, there's going to be issues.
Yeah, wow. And, wow.
Yeah, so they're extremely upset about this. Oh no, are they going to cancel the game? What's going on? And well, coincidentally at the time, Tarlok and the council, including our good buddy Tenzin, who is coming back from, there's no way in hell I'm going to be in that episode about the love triangle. They are talking and they're in agreement. These two guys are always disagreeing or in agreement. Hey, let's cancel this. This is too dangerous. Amon is a terrorist leader. Amon is basically Cobra Commander, if you think about it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But
better voice though.
Yeah, so Korra and the Fire Ferrets show up, and they're just like, "Hey, we don't negotiate with terrorists. You should know better. We should be able to do our pro bending thing, because if we don't, we're just going to have another damn love triangle episode. We don't want that, do we?" And of course, Lin shows up and says, "We don't want that. Let's have a good episode, please." No, Lin says, "Hey, you know what? We're going to bring all my officers there. We're going to make sure everything's fine. And who knows? Maybe we'll catch them on in the act."
Wall of Steel.
Yeah, first time we've seen Lin Beifong in a while, and I like her. I just like her.
She means business.
She means business, and she's got that chip on her shoulder, and you kind of find out why in this episode. Because she's walking past Korra, and Korra says, "Hey, I want to thank you for your help." She just walks right past her like she's not even there. And Korra's just like, "Tenzin, what the heck? What is her deal with me?" "Oh, she doesn't have a deal with you. She has a deal with me." Because the woman that Pima was talking about in the last episode, Tenzin's wife was talking about, the woman that she stole Tenzin from was Lin Beifong.
Oh.
So yeah, Lin and Tenzin used to be a thing. I like to think that their couple name was Linzen. And that's why
he seemed very uncomfortable about talking about the whole
situation. I love the fact that he goes into this monologue, and like a third through what would have been a grand monologue, he just goes, "Why am I telling you about this?"
Yes.
And of course,
that was funny too.
He walks off, and Korra's just like, "Bye, lover boy." I love Tenzin and Korra's relationship, because it's just, there is reverence. Korra does have reverence for Tenzin, but it's also like Tenzin is like this uncle that she has fun with, and I just love it.
She can poke at occasionally. Yeah.
But word gets back to the Cobra Terradrome that the pro bending tournament is ongoing, and Cobra Commander says, "Excellent. Let's deliver my ultimatum." He's just like, "Yes, this is exactly what I wanted. Excellent."
He's a good villain. He has a plan A and a plan B.
And he's got such a great look. Again, I've said this before, but one of the things I love about this design is that you can see his eyes. You can't see them very well, but subconsciously you can tell that he's looking at you. You can
Well,
tell
it's
where he's looking, and it's such a subtle, wonderful effect, and it makes
it's
him
also the design of that mask, dude. Like,
yeah.
there's some moments that mask on it's when it's fully shown, it's not a threatening look he has on his face. It's not like an evil villain mask. But then they all show that mask from a different angle, and it looks evil.
Yeah.
Brilliant
It's
design.
also the shadows and everything.
Yeah, the
It's
shadows,
very
like,
Doctor Doom vibe too.
yeah.
So,
But
yeah.
RDJ,
Plus, of course, the blue spirit. We
of
got so
course.
many masked characters in the show.
Yep.
So the day of the pro bending tournament comes along, and of course, we've got our fire ferrets are out there doing their best to take on the space dandy that they met last week. The I cannot remember the dude's name.
I don't know, but you're the cheaters. We'll call them the cheaters.
Yeah, they're the cheaters basically. They're the
yeah.
Steelers. It's the Bill Belichick Steelers.
Can I just say on a side note, I'm a big AFL, which is Australian Rules Football League fan, right? I watch it. And in Australian Rules Football, we hate the umpires. We yell at the umpires. We'll call them, white man.
That is not just an Australian thing.
I think that's everybody hates
international
umpires,
thing.
right? I hate this umpire. The most corrupt umpire I've ever seen in anything in my life is in this episode.
Yeah, I mean, come on. They throw rocks in their faces at one point. The umpire's just up there going, yeah, that's a game, all right.
Yeah, he got paid off for sure.
Yeah. But I thought this was a sweet little scene right here where Beifong and Tenzin basically just say, hey, we have our difficulties, but can we please just not tonight? We got people here to protect. Because, Beifong is kind of recognizes, maybe I need to chill out a little bit because this is my job.
It's a great moment.
This little tender moment, like, just kind of like old times. You can tell Lynn still has a thing for him, too.
Yeah.
So
they're both uncomfortable in the moment, but they both know they have to kind of work together. And there's a lot of years of history behind it. It was great.
Yeah, but I like the fact they can be adults, too.
Yeah.
And of course, don't forget that she is Toph's daughter. So she's going to be a little.
Yeah, she's not probably a people person. Yeah.
But most of this episode is the match between the fire ferrets and the wolf bats, and it has just punctuated with some great animation and actions, and one of the funniest finishing moves I think I've seen in a very long time. Because if you look, the water squirting out of his ear holes.
Yeah.
And I just love that.
They did so much a better job explaining what was happening in the game and the build-up. It actually had, a great action scene will have its own storyline. These matches, which I think helped a lot because you just didn't have that last week. I couldn't have cared less. But I really did care, and so did one of your cats about.
Yeah, sorry, everybody. My cats have the zoomies tonight, and they're destroying everything in the room. I'm pretty sure you're going to see these bookshelves collapse here in just a second. But yeah, just fantastic animation. Long story short, the wolf bats cheat themselves to victory. And of course, Tenzin he's up in the stands yelling at them. We hate the refs.
Yeah, I'm with Tenzin all the way.
Yeah. But then, while the crowd is going crazy, you see certain people start pulling up scarves. And you're just like, oh no, we forgot Amon was a thing. Because you did. As the audience, you kind of forgot Amon was a thing. Because they hadn't mentioned him since the beginning of the episode. But no. Amon is here, and Amon is ready to strike. And he takes out the team avatar down in the drink where they're at, and he takes out the wolf bats just through his martial arts prowess, and he reveals to everyone watching the game that they have technology that puts them on the same level as benders. And that makes him a huge threat. And then to kind of bring his threat home, because he sees pro bending as corrupt. I don't know why. Why would you see this game as corrupt? But he decides to take away Space Dandy's.
Look at that.
Bending. Oh my
gosh. That moment is horrifying.
It is. And we've said this before. this is not like Aang taking away Ozai's bending. This looks invasive. It looks like a violation. It looks painful.
This looks
That
very
just
R word. This looks
yeah,
very
it is. It's an assault,
yeah,
basically.
it is.
I mean,
It is.
and I'm sorry, Amon is there. You can see his eyes. You see his eyes through his mask.
And he
He,
looks like he's enjoying it, dude.
yeah, it's just he is such a scary villain. And a
You
lot
know
of
what?
people
This
with
is the red wedding episode of this series, right?
a
Because it felt very
sense, yes. I mean,
well,
as
because
far
it's
as
such a shock what happens at the end for me. I was not expecting that level of brutality.
just wait, just wait.
Well, so far what I've seen, this was a
Yeah.
shocking moment.
This is the most shocking moment I've seen, the most brutal ending I've seen. Homer
few-
Simpson, the most brutal ending so far.
So far. Well, I feel like now we should do a few moments later, and then we'll come back to.
Oh, there is an episode coming up with an ending that is just it rips your heart out. It absolutely rips your heart out. It does feel like the Red Wedding. It really does. Or at least that episode where Jon Snow gets stabbed, only without him coming back to life, at least for a few episodes. So anyway, Korra is pulled out of the drink by Amon's goons, and as she is pulled out of the drink, we get flashbacks. I love the flashbacks because we see Toph and Aang grown up.
Yeah.
We see some
Aang and
guy.
Toph.
It's
Yeah,
not
he's some guy.
Sokka. Who the heck is that?
Yeah.
And then we see a very pissed off Aang.
Yes.
I love adult Aang. He's just cool looking.
Do we get more of adult Aang in this series without spoiling anything?
It doesn't spoil anything, but we do get
Flashbacks?
a honest to goodness flashback at one point.
Oh,
And we see all of our friends again. I don't think Katara's in the flashback, but everyone else is. Except for Katara and Zuko. They're not there. But we get to see Sokka, we get to see Toph, and we get to see Aang. And it's kind of a brutal flashback too. But I don't want to give away too much about it.
No, please don't.
Yeah. But anyway,
see how
Amon
cool
decides
I am? Look what I did.
Yeah, Amon decides to try out his stand-up routine on the audience at this point. You know,
I'm here all week. Try the veal.
Yes. No one's laughing. I feel like I'm Amon alone. Cricket. Bring me another bender just to assault. How am I like the age of 40? Because I take your bending away. Yaka, yaka, yaka. Anyway.
I'm already anticipating the reveal, and I'm very interested to eventually get to the reveal, whenever that is, of the man behind the mask. I think it's going to be best. I think I already kind of know. No, yeah, I think I kind of know, but I don't want to say anything yet.
This was my first encounter with fake spoilers, and I don't know if it was the team behind the show that did this, or if it was just some troll that did it. But someone leaked a picture of Amon taking off his face, and underneath you see this very aged, haggard Aang. And everybody went nuts. Like, oh my God, what the hell is this?
Yeah, I think I would have had some issues with that if that was real.
Yeah. Well, I remember whenever that came out, because nobody had ever done a fake spoiler like that before. Yeah. So I was like, oh, I know what's going on. Katara is airbending Aang's dead body. And everybody's like, oh, that's terrible. I love it. I don't think the show would have gone that dark, but you got to admit that.
Yeah, that's some pretty dark.
Would have been terrifying. So the gang is tied up, and I see that it didn't upload some stills, so my apologies. The gang is tied up.
Breaking Wind episode without it.
I know the gang is tied up; they can't get away, and who should come to their aid but Pabu? Pabu swims out to them and starts.
Who I now want one.
Oh I want a fire ferret. Now, do these ferrets bend fire though, or do they just spicy when you eat them? We need to know.
If the animals like that, I think maybe if there's any fire shooting out of anywhere, it's going to be his butt.
Yeah, because I used to know somebody who had ferrets, and they're sweet, wonderful animals, but my God, they're stinky. They're stinky.
Yeah, Yeah.
Lynn looks up in horror as an airship appears and starts lowering these platforms to pick up Amon and take him home. And
Very
it's
cool.
at that point that Korra erupts out of the water. She's free and she's going to go after Amon. However, she miscalculates and her water column does not quite reach the ceiling and she starts to fall. That's Korra leaping before she looks. Fortunately,
Pasture shoes.
Lynn.
Cool moment.
Yes, Lynn is so BA. I just love it. She rescues Korra, and instead of setting her down on the ground, she tosses Korra up into the air where Korra starts fire bending at Amon's peoples. Like, I'm Korra and you're gonna die.
Yeah. But I love that flick. I love the whole physics of it. Yeah.
And then I'm sorry, we get the most boss level reaction to anything in this series as Korra almost reaches the blimp, can't quite make it, but she shoots fire up into the hatch, and Amon just stands there.
He doesn't flinch at all. He doesn't even
flinch. He's not scared of her.
Or fire at all.
Just such a great villain. Such a great villain. And I will say, if this entices you, not the best villain that we see in the whole series.
Wow, that's a big call.
There is a villain
at the moment.
There is a villain coming up. I can't remember which season it is. Maybe 2. I can't remember. But there's a villain coming up who is just incredible because he's a villain that is right.
Now, now we're talking about spoilers, and I actually don't want to know the answer for this, but I'm just letting you know in the back of my mind, I still remember a discussion from when we were talking Avatar: The Last Airbender. There's certainly someone currently in a library still, right? We'll get to at some point in this series.
Yes, I can't remember when that happens, but we do see the library again.
I love some connective tissue. I'm all about the connective tissue, so.
So Korra, unable to bring down the blimp, goes down onto the dome of the sports stadium and starts kicking some butt. Trying to help Lynn, who is also trying to kick some butt there. But then the dome shatters, Korra falls, and Lynn has to rescue her again. Another great moment. I love that they fall into that column of smoke and then emerge. I just love that old cliche. It's great.
I just love that the series is making benders vulnerable.
Yes.
But they are very vulnerable now, aren't they? Like, they're not all powerful. They're not like unstoppable. They can be beaten.
Yeah, and they can be beaten by ordinary people if they've got the right training or the right tools, which I think is it's what the equalists want. They want everyone equal. Again, the equalists are not wrong because we've actually seen where even Korra abuses her bending to intimidate regular people. We've seen it. We've seen it happen. Now, we do find that there's some motivations going on that are maybe not on the level, but as a whole, the movement is right. There is definitely some inequality. But what we do have now is that we have basically a general respect between Korra and Lynn now. They may not like each other very much, but they do respect each other as law bringers. And the entire episode ends with Tenzin saying, well, Republic City's at war. I told you we shouldn't have had this stupid match. And then he goes and plays drums. Or he forces the what's his face to play drums. I don't know the actors.
It's a great moment in a great episode that tells us that this is the beginning. It does feel like, in a way, it's another first episode, because I feel like we're going to turn a corner after this. So very, very cool.
Yes. So
totally loved it.
So that's pretty much the end of the pro bending too this season.
Oh, cool. And the winner is me. I don't have to see it again.
The winner was Amon.
yeah, he won that one.
I would like to thank the Academy for my award.
Yeah. And the makers of my fireproof suit.
Incidentally, I don't have eyebrows anymore. I don't know what happened to them. That's
good.
We do get a little bit of pro bending later. I think they open up the second season with it, but it's literally like the beginning of the first episode, and then you actually never see it again.
No, so it's good. I mean, it's a good tool to use. I mean, I think I'll give them credit for the fact they're not going to make the whole series about it. Thank the
Yes.
Lord that it doesn't turn into Avatar Bad News Bears. So I'm happy for that.
Yeah, they could have literally done that. And I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah.
But believe it or not, with this episode, we're now halfway through the season. So this would have been the mid-season break.
Yeah, I was actually looking at how many episodes are in each season? They kind of vary a little bit, don't they?
Yeah, there's only 12 in this season, and there was originally only supposed to be 10, and then Nickelodeon was like, hey, this mini-series you're doing, you want to turn it into a series? And so they were like, okay, really, but let's go ahead. And so that's why there's a bit of a rush at the end, because they honestly thought that they were wrapping up the whole series. And then Nickelodeon was like, hey, we're gonna order another season. Like, well, we didn't plan for another season. But that's
Didn't you say too that it was pretty well the deal for this entire series, where like they didn't get another 3 seasons after this, they got another season. Is that right? And then they did that, and they went, well, we actually want another one now.
Yeah, I think after the second season, they said, okay, we want 2 more seasons. And they're like, okay, cool. And then halfway through their second season, they were like, we're cutting your budget. You need to end this show now. Damn it. So that's why the fourth season is kind of weird. They have an episode in the 4th season that I argue is actually worse than the Spirit of Competition, where they have the love triangle. But the reason why they have it, I don't think you should hold it against the crew, because their budget was cut and they had a choice between either cutting an entire episode and firing a bunch of people, or just doing the cheapest episode possible.
So they're doing an animated version of a Star Trek Hallways episode, basically.
Well, they do a flashback. They do a flashback episode with next to no new animation.
Oh, okay.
They actually do a gag where all of the villains are on a phone call together, and it's just it's a still picture of them with like a phone like pasted on top, and it's just them all talking to each other. And the first time I watched, I'm like, what is this? What are they doing? And then the creator came on and was like, yeah, we know the episode sucked, but it was either that or we had to fire a bunch of people. And I was like, we'll let that slide. Okay. So yeah, but that's a long way off. We probably won't get to that episode until 2026 or later.
Yeah, and then we'll by next year, dude. And we got a whole heap of other Avatar stuff coming. Isn't it?
Oh yeah, we'll have the second season of the live action show by then. Hopefully, we will have Aang the Last Airbender by then. Yeah, and hopefully we will have the seven. Oh my gosh, what was it called? The seven.
Kevin King Seven
Havens. Seven Havens. We'll have 7 Havens by then. So yeah, lots of Avatar on the way. I'm not gonna lie, we may have to take a hiatus for extended periods on Breaking Wind, but whenever new Avatar breaks its wind, we'll be there to catch the breeze.
I just got to say, I think you're a savant in some ways, because my involvement with you with stuff is really weird, because like getting back into, say, Power of Jase, got another great show here on the channel. We've jumped onto that, and then big things are happening now with that franchise. We jump onto this. Big things are happening with this franchise. I'm feeling like we're getting a Gargoyles movie next year at some point.
Disney better not. Yeah,
that is right. Come on, that is right.
Really
bring us back.
I have honestly said that a great way to reboot Gargoyles would be to introduce them into the MCU. I think that would be awesome. Just have them like protecting New York City alongside Spider-Man. I think that would be great. Can you imagine that?
Do an animated one. Yeah, I'll go with that for sure.
Do that, or maybe even have them like in the MCU movies whenever they reboot them. I don't know. Disney could do it.
I mean,
and you know what else? Who else needs to be in the MCU? Darkwing Duck. Bring Darkwing Duck into the MCU.
Or the DC. I know you can't, but he'd be pretty good in the DC universe too. Yeah, rocking around Gotham City at night.
We could do a Deadpool
cleaning up the mess that Batman makes.
Deadpool, Darkwing Duck, Howard the Duck team up. We could do that. Disney, make it happen. See, this is why Disney doesn't return my phone calls.
Yes, basically. All right, well, yeah, that was a great episode. Can't wait to talk about the next episode, which according to my cheat sheet here is called The Aftermath.
The Aftermath.
We are moving on.
we are moving on, and we are going to have our we're going to have a special guest next time. We're going to have a
Oh,
fella
yes.
named Christopher Pinillo is going to be joining us for that. He runs his own little podcast that he has had
Right.
me on a couple of times. He's a terrific individual. Podcast is very entertaining. Ladies and gentlemen, please look at the video description below. There's a link to our Patreon. You can give us money, basically. Give us money for just being the
Please.
charming individuals that we are, or you can become a YouTube channel member and get these videos early.
One American dollar equals 7,000 Australian. So please.
For now, I actually realized that I was given the task the other day of making a video for somebody where they wanted me to read a story that was probably not G rated,
Yeah.
but it was a story about Haribo sugar-free gummy bears and the digestional aftermath of what happened to somebody at the airport. And I put that on the channel. I linked it to this person. I was like, here you go. And then I looked, I was like, why are so many people looking at it? And I'm like, oh, that's the YouTube channel members. Well, guess what? They got the video too. So I hope you guys enjoyed
Fantastic. Excellent.
it.
I haven't watched it. I should watch it, even though I'm part of the
You
channel.
should, because I actually lose it in the middle of it because I'm reading the story for the first time and something is described which I cannot describe here because it's not good. But something is described and I literally start just giggling and I look at the person, I look at the camera like I hate you so much for making me read this. I will read things for money if you give me money on camera.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Do it, guys. Do it.
I'm a lady of the night and I'm at your disposal.
Yeah. Yeah. There's one word that I'm thinking of and it starts with a W.
Ah, wonderful.
Yeah. Maybe. Depends if you're a buyer or seller. All right.